This video is going to walk you through how to create your Notan project. I need you to gather up the bleeding tissue paper background that we made and your square with your Notan designs. To begin, we're going to very carefully begin cutting out your shapes. This is not a project where we can cut that into small little pieces and chop up what we made. You need to save every single piece that you cut out because we will be using them when we create our Notan designs. So begin by very slowly and very carefully cutting on every single line that you made and making a nice neat pile of all of your shapes that you cut out. If your square was like mine and you had a lot of details that passed almost to the other side, but not quite, like if your shape went all the way through, then your square now is going to look a little bit crazy and there's not going to be much left of it. But if you were a person who kept your shapes right along that edge, then you should still have a pretty nice square left over. Once you have your neat pile of shapes set off to the side, then it's time to grab your glue stick so that we can glue down what's left of your square in the very center of your background paper. Now, if you are a virtual learner and you didn't make a bleeding tissue paper and you were just using another piece of paper, that is totally fine. Just get your glue stick and what's left of your square ready and we will begin gluing. Let's begin by grabbing your square and laying it right in the middle of your background paper so that you can see the way that it will look when it's all glued down. You want to really make sure it's as centered as possible or this next step is not going to work. When you have it right, you're going to take your glue stick and very carefully begin putting glue on the back of what's left of your square. You want to make sure you hold it down with your hand that's not gluing or this is going to rip. If it rips, we can fix it. It's not the end of the world, but you want to be really careful that all those little pieces stay nice and attached while we apply our glue super gently onto our square. Once you fill up all the pieces with glue and you are ready, you can flip it back over and lay it very carefully as centered as possible in the middle of your background paper. Once again, you want to make sure that you're super careful laying this down. You don't want any bubbles in there, and you want to make sure every piece is really stuck to your paper. You don't want to have any pieces sticking up. You want to have it glued nice and down. Now we can begin finding our shapes to flip out from the middle. This came right from the center of my square. It used to lay like that. So I'm going to lay it the way that it was drawn, and then I will take it and flip it like a mirror. So you want to lay it inside your square exactly where it came from, just like this, and then it will sit touching where it came out of and be glued just like a mirror. So you will take your glue stick, very carefully apply your glue onto your shape. And if you need to double check again, just like I needed to do, you can do that. So lay your shape down where it came from and just flip it like a mirror so it sits opposite on the outside of your square. You want it to touch right where it came out of. So if you look really carefully, it lines up really nicely and touches exactly where it came out of. You're going to repeat this process with every single one of your shapes until your Notan is complete. If you have a shape inside of a shape drawn on your square, that first layer will flip out and then your next layer will flip back in. So I'm going to lay my outer shape on the outside figure out where that inside shape lays, and it should sit right back inside. So it's like a double mirror. It flips out once and back in for a second time. If you have a shape that hangs over the edge, maybe your square wasn't right in the center, or maybe it was just really long so it hangs off, glue it down the way you glue all your other shapes down, and at the end you can take your scissors and trim that off so it's not hanging off the edge anymore. Once you have all your shapes laid out like a mirror and glued down, you are all finished and you're ready to photograph your artwork to put it on Artsonia.